Washington State's primary election is on August 4th. Candidates are vying for a spot on the general election ballot. Tonight's virtual town hall will feature candidates from the Benton County Commissioner District 1 and 3 races, Franklin County Commissioner District 1 and 2 races, and the Franklin PUD Commissioner race. Hear their thoughts about topics that matter to the Tri-Cities community. NWPB Vote 2020, in partnership with the League of Women Voters of Benton and Franklin counties, present the Candidate Forum Virtual Town Hall.
Good evening and welcome. My name is Ravine Jimenez, and I am a member of the League of Women Voters of Benton and Franklin counties. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization that does not support or oppose any candidate. In presenting these forums, it is our goal to provide opportunities for voters to become better informed about the people who are running for public office. We feel this is an important concept, especially during these landmark 100th year celebration of the 19th Amendment. This being our first ever attempt to present a virtual candidate forum, we are both pleased and grateful to add Northwest Public Broadcasting to the partnerships we have received assistance from over the years. The cities of Richland and Pasco will continue to have these up for viewing on their websites as well. At this time, I would like to introduce our moderator for this candidate forum, Matt Lovelace. Matt is a clinical assistant professor of communications at the Murrow College at Washington University, where he graduated from in 2007. His career includes experience as a news reporter, anchor, and sports director at various locations, including Lewiston and Boise, Idaho, and Decatur, Illinois. Students taking his courses learn the value of versatility in the rapidly changing world of broadcast news. Matt lives in Pullman with his wife and 2 children. Matt, thank you for helping us out. It's all yours.
Well, thank you to the League, and thank you to those watching online and on your TVs at a time when it's pretty difficult to get in front of your elected officials or to get to actually speak to candidates running for these positions. We have made it our duty with NWPB Vote 2020 to help you get to know people hoping to serve your communities. Luckily, we do have the technology. So here are the rules for engagement we'll be following for this particular forum. Every candidate has been given the opportunity to give a 2-minute opening statement. That will be followed by 3 questions, to which there will be a 90-second time limit on responses. Now, for fairness, all candidates in the same race will be asked the same 3 questions. And since this is a virtual forum and they will be entering and exiting through our Zoom session at different times, no candidate will know the questions ahead of time, nor will they hear the responses of the other candidates. They will then have an opportunity to make a 1-minute closing statement. Now, to reiterate, we are conducting this forum through Zoom video conferencing, so we are at the mercy of technology, internet connections, maybe even some at-home distractions, but voters do deserve to be informed, and we're doing it the best way we know how under the circumstances. So let's get to know the candidates. And turning our attention now to the District 1 seat for Benton County Commissioner. Joining us now is JEROME DELVIN. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And we want to start off with giving you the opportunity to make a 2-minute opening statement.
Okay, well, thank you again. So my name's JEROME DELVIN, born and raised in Richland. After high school, I actually joined the U.S. Army, spent 3 years as a military policeman, came back to Richland and became a Richland City police officer. So over 30 years in law enforcement. While serving as a Richland police officer, I had many assignments. The DARE off-road vehicles, I saw the bomb squad, sniper on the SWAT team, actually was a certified police sniper trainer. But then during there, I became involved with the Washington State Association of Police and Sheriff's Deputies, police officers and sheriff deputies. So I got involved in politics, decided to run for the State House of Representatives, ran, was elected, spent 10 years in the State House, 5 terms, and then ran for the State Senate, was elected. I spent 10 years in the Senate, resigned halfway through my last term in the Senate to become a county commissioner when I won that election. So a lot of experience in the politics and government. My whole time, I think, has just been public service. Now, this is my into my second term as county commissioner. We're running one more term. to complete some projects that I started as a county commissioner, and building for the infrastructure needs of the county coming in the next 20 to 30 years. We have a strong budget to get us through this COVID situation right now. Even though our sales tax revenue is down a bit, we still have a strong budget that's going to carry us through so we can meet the needs of the voters of Benton County. So I want to continue one more term to finish those projects that we've started. And also my last thing is to continue to work on a mental health center for the citizens of Benton County.
Do you think the budget for the Benton Franklin Health District is adequate considering the impact of COVID-19 in our area, and why or why not?
Well, the budget for the health district, it's been sufficient. We've reallocated resources in the health district. There was some federal dollars that came in and state dollars that came in that certainly helped. Benton County itself, we've given some money and pledged some money from our care funding for the health district to meet some new needs because of this COVID. So the health district has the resources with the state dollars, the federal dollars, and then with the county, because our budget's in good condition, and so we can afford to help the health district out too.
How important is it to you to preserve open spaces within Benton County, and can you address how that might affect the quality of life and future tourism dollars?
Well, tourism is pretty big for our area, especially with the wine industry. I volunteer as a tour guide for when the riverboats come in to the dock there in Richland, and volunteer as a tour guide. So tourism is very important because of our weather and our openness here. So I've worked a lot with the Friends of Badger Mountain. First, when I was in the Senate, finding monies for them in order to buy Badger Mountain, basically the park there. And then as a commissioner, worked to find the funding and for the Candy Mountain. So we have a nice trail system there. Continue to work with other groups, looking at open space, because that speaks to the quality of life in your area, is how much you can go out. It's like, I look the way I do because I went out and hiked Candy Mountain this morning. I do that several times a week. So it's important to have that open space, and there's a balance between development and open space. But I think the current ordinances that the county has, especially for the wine industry, but also on development, I think there's a really good balance that we have, and continue to work on that, because I enjoy the outdoors. So I want to make sure where I live, there's going to be plenty of outdoor recreation for our citizens of Benton County.
Benton County is becoming more diverse in its population. Should the county make an effort to reflect that diversity in its hiring and training, including the sheriff's department? Why or why not, and how do you do that?
Well, each elected official is responsible for their own department, but we have our human resources department has the policies set by the commissioners to have diversity in the workforce. And so commissioners encourage the other electeds to look at that diversity to meet our obligations as a public entity or government. So we're always working on that. We try to meet the goals that we set with the hiring. It's hard for us, though, as a county to meet salaries, and especially when you got a big employer like Hanford in the area that has better pay schedules than us. But we try to. I think we have a strong representation of the Hispanic population on our workforce at the county, and other groups. So we're always striving for more. We can always do better. To be honest, I don't know how the sheriff breaks down on population with their how many certain percentages. Off the top of my head, I don't know that on what groups are representative. But I think we always striving to reflect our area. It's grown so much in the last 10 years, and trying to keep up with that and find qualified people is certainly an issue that we're always working on, to find more employees for that diversity of our county.
And before we go, an opportunity to do a 1-minute closing statement.
Well, I would appreciate the voters support once again to finish out my third term, make sure that our county continues moving forward in a sound, strong financial way. That's the way we've worked for the last 8 years. I've been helping on that. All the infrastructure that we've built and continue to build, that's all been paid with cash. We're pretty frugal when it comes to our budget, so we've had the cash. We haven't had to raise taxes in Benton County the 8 years I've been there. On the property owners, and now the state has, but the county hasn't, and they voted for a sales tax increase for the public safety tax, which is, I think, well managed, because on these tough times, we have the resources even to help the cities out are asking for our help. So I want to continue that, but also continue to meet the needs infrastructure-wise for the county because of the growth we've had. It's been lacking before I got as a county commissioner, and so we're trying to play catch-up with infrastructure needs and continuing with a sound budget.
Mr. Delvin, thank you very much for your time today. I know it went quick, but we appreciate your responses.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
And we continue our conversations with candidates for Benton County Commissioner District 1. Jeff Smart joins us now. Mr. Smart, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Let me give you an opportunity to make your 2-minute opening statement.
All righty. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your time today. My name is Jeff Smart, and I've been a lifelong resident of the Tri-Cities in Benton County. I'm currently the elected treasurer for the Washington State Association of Realtors, and in my past, I've also been the elected president of the Tri-City Association of Realtors, as well as a multitude of other positions in the state and local associations. I've graduated from Kamiakin High School in Kennewick, as well as Washington State University in Pullman. After working for Washington State University in the Tri-Cities at the branch campus for about 10 years after coming back from Pullman, I owned and operated a number of small businesses in the area, including a real estate brokerage established by my father 52 years ago. I'm the father of 5, including 3 military veterans, 2 of which are disabled from their work defending our country. I'm running for this office because I believe there's a better way to lead in Benton County. Our current situation with the COVID-19 pandemic has shown the need for tough decisions and our leadership to step up and show what is needed to be done to improve the state we are in. I've been involved in local and state leadership specific to the real estate industry for many years. In these positions, I've seen many opportunities for local communities to step up and provide solutions around housing. I recognize that housing issues do not exist in a vacuum, and there are complex societal issues that lead to housing insecurity. These are things that we can address at a county and municipal level. I've also seen gaping holes in our mental health treatment capacity in this area. All issues that lead to the need for counseling and mental health interventions are treated criminally. Mental health facilities are not available to those who do not have insurance. Suicide prevention responses are left to the police with no family support options, and current responses lack a way to address underlying issues that led to a specific crisis in the first place. This is an area that we must and can do better. I believe in open communication from the elected leadership. There's a need for more transparency from the county offices, specifically on taxation and spending. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, our first question has to do with COVID-19. Do you think the budget for the Benton Franklin Health District is adequate considering the impact of COVID-19 in our area, and why or why not?
Okay. I believe the revenue streams for the county are sufficient to support all the departments and all the concerns and all the needs of this county. Through increased income with property taxes and with the public safety tax, this county is in a unique situation of having the funds to fulfill the needs of the various county departments, the health department and such. I will stress for need for proper funding of the health department as well as other departments that are overseen by the commissioners. With proper planning, careful budgeting, control, and insightful long-range budgeting, we can make the dollars stretch to cover the needs of this county.
Question number 2, how important is it to you to preserve open spaces within Benton County? And can you address how that might affect the quality of life and future tourism dollars?
As a real estate broker in our area, I believe that we need to have a proper mix of residential, commercial, and open space. Preserving the open space is paramount to quality of life. I believe you need space for people to go to congregate when we can after the pandemic is sufficiently flattened. But we need to also keep in careful mind the needs for all housing needs that we have. We have a large stream of people coming into our area the economy is good. And if we can balance out development of land and keeping that open space for those that want to go to parks, go walking trails, hillsides, and such, we should be definitely doing that.
And final question, Benton County is becoming more diverse in its population. Should the county make an effort to reflect that diversity in its hiring, training, and including the sheriff's department? Why or why not? And how would you do that?
I've worked hard within my industry to support and promote diversity. I look forward to expanding my purview and scope of influence with the community government to first listen and then learn, and then work strategically with our partners throughout the area to recognize where we may be lacking in opportunities for all groups to have access to employment, to housing, to governmental and community leadership positions and socioeconomic avenues towards common opportunity. And then we can determine how to take the best course of action. I completely believe in having a diverse workplace, having a diverse membership, and I'm all for this, and I need to learn more about it for sure. And I'm the first one to say that I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to try and willing to listen.
And before you go, Mr. Smart, I'll give you an opportunity to make your 1-minute closing statement.
Thank you. I want to thank everybody for their time today. I believe that getting the word out to the voting public is important, especially in this pandemic that we have. We don't have the ability for forums in person. We don't have the ability to have group gatherings, fundraisers, and such, just to get the word out. So this is very important for us to do. My stressors in running for office include a number of things. One is mental health. We need to take care of our mental health industry around here. We need to expand it. We need to make it more affordable and more open to those in need of it, both youth and adults. We need to expand upon our buildable lands in our county. We need to be able to offer affordable housing. I'm not talking about low-income housing. I'm talking about affordable housing. And we need to be more transparent and communicate more about the budget and the revenue streams that come into the county, specifically property taxes and the public safety tax.
Well, Mr. Smart, thank you very much. Appreciate your responses. Thank you for joining our virtual forum today.
I appreciate your time. This is wonderful.
And as we continue our look at the Benton County Commissioner candidates for District 1, I'm joined by Justin Rafanow. Thank you very much for being here, Justin.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
And we want to start our candidates with an opportunity to give a 2-minute opening statement.
One of the most effective ways to initiate positive change in your community is to serve as an elected official. Benton County is my home, and I want it to be the best that it can be for all of its residents. I feel called to serve and have a history of leadership positions with nonprofit boards and city and state commissions. I want to ensure our voters have options in partisan races, which is central to democracy. In 2016, the District 1 incumbent ran unopposed for a second term. Since then, I have been disappointed with his performance and feel that my skills and experience better position me to promote the interests of county residents. Additionally, many friends and community members have encouraged me to run for years, and I am pleased to answer their call and stand as a candidate in this race. Our county government has flown under the radar for too long. Many citizens don't know what services it stewards or who their commissioners are. I want to engage the public and expand the transparency of the commissioners. I will bring a balanced approach to decision-making and budgeting, a civil voice to political discourse, and I believe I am the responsible choice in this election. I'm Justin Raffa, professional musician and arts administrator with 20 years of experience in the nonprofit sector. The arts by nature are nonpartisan, and I have successfully built relationships with people of all political affiliations. I have the work experience needed for the administrative duties of the office, including committee participation and oversight, budget creation and management, and accountability to public stakeholders. As artistic director of the Mid-Columbia Master Singers, I help manage over 150 volunteers and oversee a staff of 10. Networking is a key skill to success in the arts and a big part of my role as a director. I plan to leverage my networking experience to keep Benton County connected to area jurisdictions, agencies, and businesses by creating collaborative relationships of mutual trust and respect. Thank you.
And question number one for you has to do with COVID-19, what we're dealing with right now. Do you think the budget for the Benton Franklin Health District is adequate considering the impact of COVID-19 in our area, and why or why not?
I do not. I feel that Benton Franklin Health District has been significantly underfunded for some time. And now that we have entered the era of a global pandemic where we really need the staff, their experience, and those resources to mitigate this virus, they're having a really difficult time maintaining our numbers. Obviously, we are only one of 3 counties in the state out of 39 that are still in phase 1. So I think that the agency has been significantly underfunded. It's my understanding, trying to look at the annual budget of the agency, that the funding that they receive from both Benton and Franklin County commissioners is about 10% of their total operations. So I think that that needs to be significantly improved to help us get through this process, to reopen our businesses, to protect the health and well-being of all of our citizens. They need significant resources and additional staff to help them with these efforts, especially when we look at contact tracing, staff members that are specifically trained and skilled to handle that element of combating the virus. Considering that there's over 300,000 residents of Benton and Franklin counties combined, we need closer to 100 dedicated people that are working on that front.
And question number 2, how important is it to you to preserve open spaces within Benton County? And can you address how that might affect the quality of life and future tourism dollars?
I've been pleased to serve on the board of Visit Tri-Cities, our destination marketing organization, since 2015. So I'm very cognizant of the effect of tourism on our industry and attracting people to come here, to stay in our hotels, eat in our restaurants, drink at our wineries, and spend part of their income here to support our economy. As I said in my opening statement, I believe in a balanced approach to decision making. So I believe that there's a balance to this approach that, of course, we want to maintain open lands. It's part of the beauty of the community to be out in an open space, to have access to a park, to have access to waterfront as part of our recreation. But I also know that there is a need to continue to build, to have housing, specifically affordable housing, available for the county, considering that we remain one of the fastest growing counties across the state. And I had a wonderful conversation with the Tri-Cities Association of Realtors last week, who better helped me understand this issue. So I would certainly want to communicate with them and with all parties that are connected to this issue so that we can find a balanced approach around the preservation of open space in the county.
And you mentioned the growth of Benton County. With the growth, it's becoming more diverse in its population. Should the county make an effort to reflect that diversity in its hiring and training, including the sheriff's department? And why or why not? And how would you do that?
Yes, I agree that the diversity of our citizenry should be represented at all local levels of government, our elected officials and staff. I recently attended a training on police reform and law enforcement practices, and I was intrigued by the recommendation that local community-based groups be part of hiring practices, especially for law enforcement. So as commissioner, I would certainly be interested to pursue this option of inviting community representatives to be part of a task force panel that help oversee the hiring of our law enforcement, specifically deputies and those that are serving the sheriff's office. And I also believe that our law enforcement should be residents of our communities. I think that there are too many law enforcement employees that live far outside of our towns and counties and are not as well connected with the community and how it works and understanding its citizens. So I would also be an advocate for ensuring that we are hiring local and ensuring that future law enforcement representation actually live in the jurisdictions that they're representing.
And before we let you go here, I do want to give you an opportunity to make your 1-minute closing statement.
Wonderful. I invite viewers to visit my campaign website, justinraffa.com, where we've archived video and audio spots that further explore my candidacy. and include more information about my biography, platform, and endorsements. Please follow me on social media through my campaign Facebook page, as well as Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. The public can email me directly at info@justinraffa.com with any questions or feedback. And unlike several of my opponents who are self-funding their campaigns, as of today, I've raised over $25,000 with grassroots support from over 175 contributors, positioning me as the lead fundraiser in this race today. Thank you to the League of Women Voters of Benton and Franklin counties and to Northwest Public Broadcasting for the opportunity to present to you today. And I humbly ask for your vote as the next Benton County Commissioner for District 1 on August 4. Thank you.
Mr. Raffa, thank you very much for joining our virtual forum today.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you again for the opportunity.
And continuing our look at the candidates for Benton County Commissioner District 1, we're now joined by Michael Alvarez. Mr. Alvarez, thank you for being here today.
Thank you. I appreciate the invitation.
And we want to learn more about our candidates, so we'd like to start off with your 2-minute opening statement.
So my name is Michael Alvarez, and I'm running for Benton County Commissioner District 1. I currently am serving as a Richland City Councilman, and I help review and approve a $250 million plus city budget. My other duties have included council liaison for the Planning Commission, Code Enforcement Board, Economic Development Committee, Arts Commission, Port Commission, Benton Franklin Community Action Committee, and the list goes on. I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps and very proud of that. And I'm currently an active member in the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary as a finance officer. I'm also involved in several nonprofits and usually at the executive or financial level. My wife and I have been married 30 years. We own a local mortgage company here together, over 20. We have 2 kids, both graduated from Richland High and WSU, and we've called Benton County home for more than almost 30 years. Benton County will be facing some very difficult economic and financial challenges due to COVID-19. I'm the only candidate that has a formal business education and 30 years of extensive financial and business experience needed to help ensure taxpayers' money is used in the best possible way and that taxes are not increased unnecessarily. Compare my qualifications with my opponents and see who you would like to manage your tax dollars. I'm a strong advocate of yours, putting Benton County on a sustainable financial track without raising taxes, bringing economic development to Benton County for quality family wage jobs, providing first responders the personnel and the equipment they need. I'm ready to tackle the tough topics of mental health. Lastly, creating a more transparent form of local government with better communications for its citizens. My endorsements include Larry Healer, retired state legislator, 8th District, Central Washington Building and Trades Council on behalf of 16 affiliated local trade unions, endorsed by Franklin County Sheriff Jim Raymond, and endorsed by dozens of local small businesses, too many to mention. Please vote Michael Alvarez for Benton County Commissioner District 1. Thank you.
And our first question for you, Mr. Alvarez, do you think the budget for the Benton Franklin Health District is adequate considering the impact of COVID-19 in our area? And why or why not?
So that's actually a pretty good question and a tough question. You know, I think because of COVID-19 and we're going to have financial challenges due to COVID-19. I mean, the cities within the county and the county, we're certainly seeing that right now. And with the cost that we're having with lack of sales revenue coming through and the cost increasing for the health district budget here, I do think we're going to have to put more money into that for more testing. We're getting some state money, we're getting some federal money in there, but I think it's important that we're going to have to really look at that. And I think that's something that Benton County Commissioners can go ahead and do along with their finance director and their finance department and really look where we're going to have the shortfalls and see where we can go ahead and fill those shortfalls within that budget. Because like I said, we're not going to be a jack of all trades. We're going to have the medical professionals come in here. We're going to have to have conversations. That's a tough conversation to have and bring all those people together and see what we can go ahead and do, where that's going to happen and what we can do to fix it. So it's a tough question. I'm a finance guy. I've been doing that for about 30 years. And I think the best thing to do is, yes, we need more testing on that. We need more equipment, and we need to support our local health experts. But that's something that we're going to have to go ahead and come together and collaborate and see where those are and see where we can go ahead and fill those buckets to increase that budget. Thank you.
And for question number 2, how important is it to you to preserve open spaces within Benton County? And can you address how that might affect the quality of life and maybe future tourism dollars?
That's actually a good question too. Before I was a city councilman, I'm an outdoors person, and everybody around here knows that. I was actually a commissioner for Richland Parks and Recreation Commission as well. And so I think it's very important for quality, to have quality of life, to have our open natural spaces. I was very pro on all the parks and trails we have here. We're very lucky to have a lot of open space and parks and trails and waterways and stuff like that. So I think it's a balance. We have a lot of tourism coming in here. We're actually growing at a very fast pace here in Benton County. So it's going to have to be a balance between smart economic development, bringing in quality family wage jobs in here, and utilizing our trades and our professional people that we have currently here, making smart decisions on the economic side, but also making sure we still have those wide open spaces where we can go ahead and play and have fun. And I think that really helps everybody here for having a quality life here, I think, as well. I'm a little nervous talking here, but like I said, there's a lot of people right now. If we didn't have those natural open spaces and those parks and trails, I think because of COVID-19, we want to have a quality life we have here. Like I said, we go for walks all the time. I see people walking out there on the trails, and so I think it's a good thing.
And talking about the people of Benton County, the county is becoming more diverse in its population. Should the county make an effort to reflect that diversity in its hiring and training practices, including the sheriff's department? Why or why not? And how would you do that? Oh,
these are hard questions, but they're important questions. You know, I have a bachelor's degree in human resource management. So I really take hiring and benefits and all those things all my life, you know, since I've been out of college. I take those things very seriously. And so, you know, I can say anything, do anything on this, but I think it's important that we do have our diversity. And I think there is diversity. I know in the sheriff's department, there's a lot of diversity that I see going on there right now. We have to look at hiring the best quality people for the job, obviously, that are actually qualified and have the experience, but also we have to have people of different nationalities and those things that reflect the community as well. And I think the county has done a great job of doing that. You know, this is, like I said, a tough question for me because I think it's really important. I think it's a good question to ask, but I think, you know, for someone that I don't necessarily say this, but a person of minority, myself, I think it's important that we look at that in that diversity. But like I said, within the county and the cities within the county, they're doing a good job. And that's a really human resource thing. We can go ahead and have human resource from the county do their job. And I think they do a good job for it. Good question.
And before you go, I'll give you an opportunity now for a 1-minute closing statement.
All right. So here's my 1-minute closing statement. If you live in Richland or West Richland, there's a good chance you've seen my signs. They have my name and face on them. And I did that on purpose. So if I'm elected, you can put a name with a face. I'm a strong advocate for using the public safety tax fund to reduce gang violence, drug activity, and create a better mental health program. I know the younger generation and families want more affordable housing, and I will make that a reality. More importantly, I'm the only candidate that has the education, extensive financial, and business experience needed to help ensure taxpayers' money is not increased unnecessarily due to COVID-19. And finally, citizens are asking for change. It's time to vote out career politicians with candidates that have the energy, drive, financial, and business experience needed to keep the county moving forward in a positive direction. Please vote Michael Alvarez for Benton County Commissioner District 1. And if I have your vote, I'm asking you to ask your friends, family, coworkers, and neighbors to vote for me as well. Thank you.
Mr. Alvarez, thank you very much for joining our virtual forum today and appreciate your responses.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And taking a look at the candidates in the race for Benton County Commissioner District 3, we begin with William McKay.
Perfect. My name is Will McKay, and I am from Kennewick, and I have chosen to run because I feel that our men that are in there right now are not meeting up to what is required from us constituents. I have a business in town, and I have had major issues with keeping the doors open because of the COVID issue that we've had. And that was one reason why I got going looking into this. And they sent a letter out finally 42 days after the 30-day stay at home from our governor. To me, that's 42 days late. That letter should have been written to the governor within a week after that 30-day stay at home, stating basically, hey, we're different over here. Let us try to control it over here by ourselves. I know that our numbers are up right now, and I think it's more of an education of people that need to get educated on how to stay safe right now. So the COVID thing is a major issue. And after diving into the COVID, we had other issues with our public safety tax and not being used properly. There's between $16 to $18 million in that tax fund that has not been used at all. And there's the deputy department, the police department, they need a couple more radios to get better service in the areas. And then also the other issue that I have is budgeting. Obviously, we're going to run into massive issues for the next 4, 5, 6 years of budgeting. And I just feel that the gentlemen that are in there now don't have any skin in the game. They don't own a business. They don't have any kids at home. I have 4 kids that are in the school district. So the choices that I make affect me, and they affect everyone else in the Benton County. And I feel that they don't have the desire or care of for us. And my last little statement is if you notice, I have all of my property signs but one is in one right of way. All of my other property signs are in private property. And to me, private property and those God-given rights are very important to me. And so those are the main reasons why I'm running. So that's my opening statement. Thank you.
Do you think the budget for the Benton Franklin Health District is adequate considering the impact of COVID-19 in our area, and why or why not?
I feel that they do have enough money to combat with COVID-19. For me personally, the issue is the communication between our other the Franklin County and here, and also the public health department, the public health department, Franklin Benton Health Department. I feel that they're not getting the numbers counted correctly, but also so I feel that there is budget in there. I just don't think that the communication and the organization, again, the only thing I can give them credit on is that no one has ever gone through this. So the issue is unknown, but we need to keep learning from our mistakes. And the mistakes, I think, keep getting made over and over again with the communication and the testing and making sure that we're recording them correctly. But I do feel that they do have the budget for that. I know last week they had a meeting of a gentleman that's in the Franklin, the health department, and they granted him more money to hire another person on to help him out. And I know that he was doing some online stuff, some computer stuff. So he was getting overworked. And so I know that they do have money in there to help educate and help us stay safe.
How important is it to you to preserve open spaces within Benton County? And can you address how that might affect the quality of life and future tourism dollars?
Yeah, so I strongly, see, I'm a construction, I own a construction company. And so I do a lot of buildings and houses and everything. And so open spaces for me is very important. And you have to find that happy medium of bringing tourism in, but also finding the places, hey, where can we put another neighborhood up to keep our growth going? So with my experience and dealing with the Seattle groups the environmental groups that, sue us and hold us down for opening up other areas for development, I have relationships and experience on doing that. But yes, open spaces, I'm a strong advocate for those spaces and to help to bring tourism in. And I bring the communication thing back. I really strongly feel that we can bring more tourism in if Franklin County and Benton County work together on those items.
Thank you. And Benton County is becoming more diverse in its population. Should the county make an effort to reflect that diversity in its hiring and training, including the sheriff's department? Why or why not? And how would you do that?
It's more diverse. Yes. I feel that there's a great diversity right now in the Sheriff's Department. Again, I could be wrong. I mean, there's a lot for me to learn still. I did meet with the Deputies Guild about 4 weeks ago. The diversity in that group was awesome. So I feel it's doing well now with the diversity. But again, if something comes to me, I'm a facts person. So if there's facts or issues that come up, I for sure dive in and look at that. But as of now, I don't see an issue with that. Did that answer that question?
Yes.
Okay. Didn't know if I need to get more detailed or not.
You have more time if you wanted to take it, about 45 more seconds, but you're certainly not required.
No, I'm good.
And then finally, your 1 minute closing statement. Keep it brief, but anything else you feel like needs to be heard?
Okay. You know, I don't really, at the beginning of this, I decided to run. I had the thought process of running during the Christmas, New Year's time and stuff. But what really got me was that letter to Franklin County. And I dove in to see what our commissioners are doing. And I feel that our commissioners are complacent. I feel that they are career politicians. And I don't feel that they care about what's going on in our community. 2 weeks ago, there was one commissioner that was venting about, I'm done with the governor. I'm done with the governor. And then all of a sudden he said, I'm also done with getting emails from everyone asking what we're doing for COVID. Well, you're not paid to be done. You're paid to fight for us and defend for us. And they're not doing that. And the last little bit is I'm a businessman, and we need to have business people in the commissioner's seat to run the commission and the county like a business.
Mr. McKay, thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate your responses.
Thank you very much.
And continuing our look at the Benton County Commissioner race for District 3, we're now joined by Jim Beaver. Jim, thank you very much for calling in.
Oh, thank you.
Well, first of all, I want to give you a chance to do your 2-minute opening remarks.
Well, I'd like to say hi to everybody. I'm running for county commissioner again, and I spent 30 years running for office. I was selected to the Kennewick City Council in 1990, voted in as mayor in 1996. I spent the next 6 terms being the mayor, 13 years as the mayor. In 2009, I got elected to the Board of County Commissioners, and I've been serving the community for 30 years. I mean, that's kind of what I do. I believe in building a better community. That's what I believe in. And I've always said, you know, if a day comes where the community, if they don't think what I'm doing is right, then, you know, send me home. So I don't have a problem with elections or how things play out or all that stuff. You work hard, you try to do the best job you can, and that's kind of my whole mentality. Thank you.
Fantastic. And we'll start with the first of 3 questions. First, do you think the budget for the Benton Franklin Health District is adequate considering the impact of COVID-19 in our area, and why or why not?
We've tried to change that a little bit. And so the answer to the question is no. And so how do you make a midterm adjustment in the budget and adjust for changes that are, in my opinion, an emergency? So the bi-county operation, which is difficult because it's a 2-county program, we got to go down that road. So the answer to your question is no. We should be providing more resources to make sure that we're not going to be in trouble.
All right. And question number 2, how important is it to you to preserve open spaces within Benton County? And can you address how that might affect quality of life and future tourism dollars?
It's very important to me. I think the outdoors and recreational opportunities are very important to our community. I'm a little concerned about some things like wind farms, taking open spaces away from people. I'm really discouraged by not allowing open space to be part of the planning process, let's just say. So that concerns me.
And question number 3, Benton County is becoming a more diverse population. Should the county make an effort to reflect that diversity in its hiring and its training, including the sheriff's department? Why or why not, and how would you do that?
Well, the answer to that question is yes, and we can display diversity everywhere we go. My grandfather was an Indian, so I grew up in an Indian kind of a deal. And so I don't have a problem with integration. I don't have a problem with, I've lived it my whole life. So during the winter when I have a tan and people want to know where I went on vacation, that's really not where I'm at. I'm just the dark guy. So I get that whole program.
Right. Well, finally, just an opportunity here to let you give us a 1-minute set of closing remarks.
I've appreciated all the years I've served. I believe that you build a better community. That's what I believe in. And so we were taught when I was little that you leave a place better than it is after you leave before you got there. So that's my whole kind of mantra to this thing. I did it when I was the mayor of Kennewick. I did it for 18 years on the city council, and I'm still doing it as a county commissioner. My role as an elected official is to leave this place better than it was. And so that's what I believe. That's what I want to do. That's where I'm at.
Jim Beaver, candidate for Benton County Commissioner, District 3, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Take care.
And now we're joined by another candidate for the Benton County Commission, District 3, Joe Lusignan. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it.
Well, let's get right off with your opening statement. You have 2 minutes. Let's hear it.
Okay, my name is Joe Lusignan. I'm running for Benton County Commissioner, District 3. A little bit of background. I'm a Marine vet, spent some time in the Middle East. Therefore, I'm a member of the Veterans of Foreign War and the American Legion. I'm also a retired Benton County Sheriff's Officer, deputy, and spent 23 years serving the community of Benton County, very thoroughly familiar with the Benton County, the players, and the way we do business. I'm also, of those 23 years, I volunteered for 19 of those years in a youth organization called the Young Marine Program. After retirement from the Benton County Sheriff's Office, I was brought on as a corporate officer, as a deputy director for the national program, and worked 6 years, of which I've just recently left. I'm running for Benton County Commissioner because I have a passion for this community. It's the community in which I live, and I want to do a couple of things. One is bring about more accessibility, more transparency, and more accountability in the commissioner's role. We have a lot of issues that we need to deal with standing budget, with partnerships with our local leadership that needs to be improved, and even partnerships with the Franklin County commissioners. We need to work on improving those as well. And so with that, I have executive leadership skills as far as being deputy director and responsible for a multi-million-dollar budget with the Young Marine Program, and I'm really ready to get to work. In fact, of the candidates, I am the only one who will have the time to be a full-time commissioner and 100% dedicated to raising the life and for the Benton County citizens and its employees. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lusignan. Now, we'll start with question number 1. Do you think that the budget for the Benton Franklin Health District is adequate considering the impact of COVID-19 in our area, and why or why not?
Well, referring to the budget of the Benton County Health District, I believe that it's adequate. However, I don't believe the supervision has been appropriate. The Benton County and Franklin County commissioners are the board of directors for the health district, and I believe that there has been offers to the health district as far as more assets and more employees, and they recently turned them down. reversing the course very recently in order to be able to do the job that they have to do. I think that with better supervision, the commissioners need to have a better handle on the health district. And it's one of those cases where you supervise somebody, but you're not really paying attention to what they're doing. I think with better guidance, better supervision, and more instruction and a hands-on approach, they can have done a better job than that they've been doing. I don't believe that they've been instructed that well to work on behalf of the county, and they serve two masters, both being the state as well as the county. And I believe their loyalties have been divided. And as the supervision for that organization, the commissioners need to do a better job at instructing them for their outcomes that they should be delivering to the county.
Thank you. And question number 2 is, how important is it to you to preserve open spaces within Benton County? And can you address how that might affect the quality of life and maybe future tourism dollars?
I think our open spaces is one of the things that attracts people to the Tri-Cities area. And I think it's very important, and it has to be maintained. While we want to expand as far as to provide better better opportunities for residential homes for our community, and more of a middle ground where people can gravitate and realize the American dream by owning their own home. We have to always keep in mind one of the magic things about the Tri-Cities is that our parks and our recreation opportunities, living on the Columbia River as well as bordering two others, a lot of the attraction for Benton County is our parks and our rivers, and that always has to be a focus on maintaining them and to preserve the pristine things of nature that we're provided to raise it's one of the assets in our community that helps us raise our children outdoors instead of indoors. And so I think it's a logical as well as a primary role of the commissioners is to oversee that we don't fill those things in with urban sprawl, that we maintain our quality of life and a reason to get outdoors and enjoy the weather.
Thank you. And question number 3 is, Benton County is becoming more diverse in its population. Should the county make an effort to reflect that diversity in its hiring and training practices? And that includes the sheriff's department. Why or why not? And how do you do that?
I think it's incumbent on all of us to be as inclusive as we can. But also we need to remember that we don't want to lower the quality of our employees. For instance, I sat on the hiring board for the sheriff's office when I was a lieutenant in the sheriff's office. And it's basically driven by testing, as well as polygraphs, as well as psychological testing, as well as physical fitness testing and oral board interviews. And I think that we want to maintain our high standards, but when given the opportunity, we also want to, we have to diversify in all our efforts as far as our employees go. And so I would reach out to other groups. For instance, we mentioned testing for the sheriff's office. The time to prepare for testing is before you test. And so whether it be through Explorer programs or other types of avenues that we reach out to diverse groups to try and cultivate those future employees. And so whether it be from the lower socioeconomic folks or those who are not necessarily, that we want to be as inclusive as we can in reaching out, whether it be through job fairs, whether it be high school classes, whether it be college classes, to try and garner the interest of those interested in serving the Benton County prior to the testing processes.
And finally, your opportunity to make a 1-minute closing statement.
Well, in the 1-minute closing statement of the candidates, I am the only one with executive level leadership. The only one, as you were, the executive level leadership, and I'm the only one who does not have any other businesses. I will be a full-time commissioner, which our community desperately needs in these times of trouble and strife. We need somebody dedicated to putting us back in the race, putting us back in the game, and to raise the issues of the problems that we have. And so my other candidates have other businesses, have other attention. I'm an empty nester. And I have 100% all in for the Benton County community.
Mr. Lusignan, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate your answers and getting to know you better as a candidate.
Thank you, Matt. A little bit stressed with the time limits, and I wish I knew you better, but we'll get that farther down the road. Thank you very much. And I'd also like to thank you guys for keeping the voters informed as potential candidates and their abilities.
Well, thank you very much. And now we begin our look at the race for Franklin County Commissioner. This for District 1. Our first candidate in that race is Kim Lehrman. Ms. Lehrman, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, we want to give you an opportunity to give an opening statement. 2 minutes for that.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Kim Lehrman, and I'm running to be your next Franklin County Commissioner for District 1. I was raised on my family's cattle and alfalfa farm, where I learned the value of hard work. I also learned that the best way to get a job done is to work as a team, where everyone feels supported, listened to, and respected. I am running for Franklin County Commissioner because Franklin County residents deserve someone who believes that the best way to lead is to listen to the people who live in our county and then act accordingly. For 13 years, I've served over 1,000 students as an agriculture and welding teacher in the classroom and beyond the classroom walls. I left teaching to stay home with my children, but found other ways to serve the students by focusing on improving my community. Among the things I did were serve as a parent chair for a collaborative organization, helping to increase student academic success, working to pass a local school levy and bond in 2016 and in 2017, and coaching around 150 boys and girls in soccer and basketball, instilling in them the value of teamwork. I will collaborate with our county officers, our cities, bi-county agencies, Benton Franklin Health District, both state and federal government. I will listen to the science regarding important issues such as COVID-19 and prioritizing protecting the lives of Franklin County residents over politics. As a former teacher, an FFA member, and an active community leader, I know how to build consensus and make others feel heard. Franklin County needs a commissioner who leads through listening. My name is Kim Lehrman, and I want to work for you. I respectfully ask for your vote on August 4th primary election. Thank you.
And Kim, we'll start first talking about budgets. As a commissioner, what do you think should and could be done to make up for probable shortfalls in the county budget?
Well, first, our budget needs to be examined very closely to be able to find out where we can be able to cut costs. Because right now the state is estimating to have about a 15% budget shortfall. And so that is a reality of the situation. We need to appoint a budget task force to do a top to bottom analysis of the budget and suggest long-term governing priorities. That will help the county address the issue it has in having to deal with the budget crisis. Once the governing priorities are set, then as a board and county departments, we can have direction and find future planning instead of reactionary board leadership. One way that we can boost revenue is to promote economic investment in the county by working with our city governments to attract businesses that will generate more sales taxes. We can also hire a grant writer to be able to aggressively attract grants, so that way we can also have additional revenue. Right now, the county doesn't have that service, and that is a service that Benton County has that we could be able to model, or that they have modeled as an efficient use of their funds. Our citizens also should have a voice in the budget, and we should provide a survey to be able to, one, admit that there's budget for shortfalls, allow the citizens to understand the situation we're in, to allow them to be able to help prioritize too. And so adding in their input, the budget analysis, working groups input, and coming up with governing board priorities will greatly help us out.
And hindsight's going to be particularly relevant this year. As we look back, do you think the commissioners from the two counties could have done more to help the Benton Franklin Health District reduce the spread of COVID-19 in those two counties? And if so, how could that have been done?
One, we need to, in a good faith effort, listen to our health experts and trust in what science and education that they have instilled, that they have worked for their entire lives, and their role in protecting our county. And as we work closely with the Benton Franklin Health District, we follow the recommendations. when we stand united in wearing our masks and sharing with the county that as leaders, we wear a mask to protect you, to slow down the COVID-19 crisis, to be able to help protect our citizens and move us forward into phase 2. We should fully fund the health district. We should fully give them their access to their CARES Act, not hold that money back. We should absolutely work together with Benton County commissioners and our health district. We want to get into phase 2. In order to move on to phase 2 from phase 1, we must work together. And I look forward to our county commissioners finally getting to that stage and putting out a press release, wearing their mask, encouraging everyone to work together so we can be able to decrease the amount of deaths that we're having. We're one of the fastest growing counties of the COVID-19 disease. Let's slow that down together.
And question number 3, as a county commissioner, what would you think should be more important in Franklin County, preserving prime agricultural land or promoting growth with housing development?
Our entire Earth's surface, only 1/32 of the entire Earth's surface is arable land. That land is to be used for now and in the future. And so the agriculturalist in me, growing up on a family farm, knows the value of high quality agricultural land and knows that that is a resource that we must absolutely protect for the future. And so it is a careful balance between preserving that land for the future, conserving that land for the future, and also surveying our community's needs. So that way we can be able to have strong economic growth, opportunities for housing of high, middle, low housing, including multi-family homes. So no longer is our young children, our young adults who are 19, 20, 21, having to leave the county to go to Benton County to be able to have housing, but a way to be able to incorporate both of those strong values together through a smart growth development plan. But we must seek the community's input in order to do a quality long-term plan.
And before we let you go, I do want to give you an opportunity to give your 1-minute closing statement.
Elected officials are public servants. They are there to serve all of us. The citizens of our county deserve a commissioner who is willing to lead through listening. We deserve a commissioner who builds bridges, a leader who's willing to put people over politics and hear our county's diverse voices. We deserve a commissioner who will listen to science and policy experts, not attack them. Franklin County stands at a crossroads. We are one of the fastest growing counties in the state, and yet we are gripped with both a pandemic and a growing economic crisis. I love this county, and I believe in its future. Franklin County voters have an important decision to make about what type of leader they want to serve them. Together, we can return a spirit of cooperation and common sense, common purpose to the Franklin County Commission. My name is Kim Lehrman, and I respectfully ask for your vote and encourage anyone who wants to join our team to visit electkimlehrman.com to learn more. Thank you.
Kim Lehrman, thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you very much for having me today. I appreciate it.
Our next candidate in the race for Franklin County Commissioner position, or District 1, is Brad Peck. Mr. Peck, thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you. And thanks to the League of Women Voters who arranged this opportunity for us to speak with our constituents under such unusual circumstances.
And for the purposes of this forum, first thing I would like you to do, if you have one prepared, is to give us a 2-minute opening statement.
Okay. I am a current serving county commissioner, incumbent, one of the more experienced commissioners in the state of Washington at this point. And I came out of Central Washington University up in Ellensburg with an undergraduate degree, picked up a Master of Science in Communications from Eastern later on, and then served a full career in the Air Force, retiring as a lieutenant colonel. A lot of the skills and leadership that the Air Force taught me have translated nicely into this platform, public service. And during that career, I had the opportunity to serve overseas in the Middle East. I served as an advisor and consultant for 2 different members of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in the Pentagon, working with the Congress. Worked for about 6 years here locally with Energy Northwest in executive positions, and then probably the capstone of my leadership experience that I've enjoyed has been working as a county commissioner, where I really think our job is to facilitate citizen success rather than regulate citizen compliance. Beyond that, I'll just say that I'm looking forward to another term. I'm at the point in my commissioner career where I have the networks and the contacts, the experience, especially in Olympia, working with the legislature, to look out for Franklin County's interest in a way that, frankly, new commissioners will take several years to achieve. Also concerned that our Board of Commissioners, if I'm not chosen to return next January, will be probably the least experienced in the state of Washington. We'll have one brand new commissioner running for another seat. We'll have one commissioner who's here now, has only about 18 months of experience. My presence on that board really will be the historical knowledge and the experience that every board, frankly, is going to need, especially coming into what will be one of the most difficult budget years that we've seen with the COVID scenario.
It's certainly not alone there in Franklin County when it comes to a forecast of a tough budget. As a commissioner, what do you think should and could be done to make up for some probable shortfalls in the upcoming budget?
So there's two things in particular. One, we absolutely have to use, well, for example, the experience I've established and the relationships I've established with the legislature in Olympia to make sure that the state of Washington starts paying their fair share of mandated expenses. Take, for example, indigent defense for people facing prosecution. Those are supposed to be paid by the state, but it's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes millions, that the counties incur in those costs. Number one is to make sure the state's paying their fair share. Number two is to look at what the function of the county really is, prioritize those responsibilities, fund from the top, and eliminate things that might be things we'd like to do, but frankly, taking care of the health and safety of our people and meeting our primary mission is far, far more important. So I think those are the two things. Get a budget together that is priority-based and that serves our citizens, and make sure that the state is paying their fair share to allow us to do, frankly, the other one.
And question number two maybe allows for a little bit of hindsight. Do you think the commissioners from the two counties, Benton and Franklin counties, could have done more to help the Benton-Franklin Health District reduce the spread of COVID-19 in those two counties? And if so, what could have been done?
So, excellent question. I need to clarify, first off, that the Benton-Franklin Health District has its own board of directors, which coincidentally is the 6 commissioners from the two counties. So when we're sitting in that boardroom with the health district, we are not county commissioners. So there's two distinctly different roles. We have been active on the health district board, providing advice and counsel. But one of the things I learned working in the Pentagon for the Joint Chiefs of Staff is that you hire really exceptional people like the ones we have in the health district, and you give them a mission, and then you provide the support and the resources and the encouragement, and you get out of their way. If there's one thing, though, that I think that in hindsight that we probably should have done sooner and done better is to communicate with our constituents. This is a case of the health district not maybe fulfilling that role as much as we should have as a board. And at the same time, the county thinking, well, you know, that's really the health district's function. Let's not step in front of them. And it was really a case of two hands not talking to one another as much as they should. And in fact, I've dealt with that recently. I've encouraged the health district to hire professional communications counsel, and I spoke with them coincidentally this morning. And they're taking that advice, and I think you're going to see a lot better communication going forward. So great question, and no surprise coming from the Murrow School in WSU. I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate that. Well, and finally, question number 3, as a county commissioner, what do you think should be more important to Franklin County, preserving prime agricultural land or promoting growth through housing development?
Yeah, there has to be a balance. There's no question that we need a broad spectrum of housing, everything from the high-end housing that generates enough tax revenue to support programs for the benefit of the whole county, but we also need housing on the other end of the scale that's affordable and accessible and sufficient in numbers. And you can't, frankly, do that with the same amount of ground forever. There comes a point where you've built out that ground sufficiently and you need to add. The key is looking at the agricultural ground and making sure that the ground that is the prime ag ground, the best soils, the best history, irrigation water, those types of things, and preserve those to the extent possible, and look for those grounds that make great housing, maybe some of the shoreline areas, for example, that are fabulous housing areas, but aren't necessarily great ag lands. So it's prioritizing what the beneficial qualities of each are, and then trying to avoid competition between the two.
And before we let you go, give you an opportunity to give your 1-minute closing remarks.
Okay. Well, thanks again. Really appreciate the fact that you've created this forum. It's very difficult for us to get out and talk to people in this environment. I think if there's anything that I would ask voters to keep in mind, both in the primary and the general election, is that experience matters. It really does. It takes several years for a commissioner to establish the network and the understanding of what is really a very complex position. And I will frankly be the person on the board going forward who has that experience. I'm in my 12th year. It doesn't make me the most senior commissioner in the state, but one of the most. And my voice, frankly, is well respected in Olympia, in the Washington State Association of Counties, and locally. And my goal is just simply to serve and to put that experience into use and do the best I can to make sure that the county is facilitating citizen success, not regulating citizen lives.
Well, Mr. Peck, thank you very much. I know this is an unconventional way to go about a candidate forum or a town hall, but we really appreciate your time.
Well, it's my pleasure, and thanks for the opportunity.
And we're ready to speak with one more candidate for the Franklin County Commissioner District 1 seat. Matt Beaton joins us. Mr. Beaton, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate I've worked for years with the League of Women Voters, and I appreciate all the work they do, both here as well as showing up at the new citizen ceremonies that we hold from time to time, or actually that are held at the federal court. So thank you.
And we first want to start giving you the opportunity to give a 2-minute opening statement.
Sure. Hi, I'm Matt Beaton, and I'm running for Franklin County Commissioner 1. I've been serving you for the past 10 years as your elected county auditor, and it's been my honor and privilege to work with the dedicated, hardworking professionals in the auditor's office. We've accomplished much. It's not been easy, but leadership that supports and empowers people to take ownership of their craft and commit to the best services possible, it works. Franklin County Commissioner 1 needs a fresh and different approach to delivering transparency, accountability, and effective local government. The economy ahead will be difficult to navigate, with shrinking budgets and challenging times to deliver the services that are going to be needed. We need to maintain the core functions and prioritize the efficiency in our county government. I have the experience, temperament, and passion to be successful at this. I can and will do that for the people of Franklin County. Thank you.
And your first question, Mr. Beaton, as a commissioner, and you sort of alluded to this, what do you think should and could be done to make up for some probable shortfalls in the county budget?
So as the Franklin County auditor, like I said, again, for the last 9 years, we have been assembling and balancing the budget. And one of the things that I'm aware of in county government is, at least at Franklin County, we do not use a priorities-based budget process. And that is one where, in fact, in my 9 years I've been there, we haven't held a single workshop that included the, on an ongoing basis. We hold budget workshops, but we have not held workshops that include all of the electeds as well as the other, the other directors of their departments. So I think, and it's a process that starts at the start of the year, identifies goals, and then lays out how we reach those. So yes, I think in this time, and it's been a frustrating thing, and it's one of the reasons as an auditor for the last 9 years on this team of elected officials that the people in Franklin County hire, it's time to move a different type of leadership into the commission. So I think the most important things will be prioritizing by-county relationships and finding ways to drive efficiency through working together, with everyone basically, and that has not been happening in Franklin County.
And hindsight's going to be kind of big on this question, but do you think the commissioners from the two counties could have done more to help the health district reduce the spread of COVID-19 in the two counties? And if so, how could that have been done?
You know, they're fantastic question, and it couldn't be more relevant to everything we're facing, and I think that we will continue to face with this virus through the fall. I got to tell you, I have, as somebody who is already elected and part of who the public depends on to speak up. Why isn't the Board of Health meeting on a weekly basis to try to ask for, the metrics and drive what is important so that the people of the businesses, especially that are suffering out there, and I am telling you, I hear from them, I'm on the campaign trail all the time, and it is bad. So do I think they could have done more? Absolutely. I think they could do more starting right now today. I mean, to have these, to be in there on a regular basis, they're just now starting to ask the difficult questions about why the numbers don't add up. Or my background's in appraising. So one of the things you do in appraising is analyze data points all over the place. It's one of the reasons when I entered government 9 years ago, I landed at the auditor's office. We work with numbers, we work with ratios and efficiencies. And in this case, I believe the people at the health department are doing their best. They are just lacking definitive leadership, much like we're lacking at the county with clear goals and setting things out and adjusting as the data comes in. So, yeah, I believe better goals and meeting more often would have been two pieces of real low-hanging fruit for the Benton Franklin Health.
And the final question, as a county commissioner, what do you think should be more important to Franklin County? Preserving the prime agricultural land there or promoting growth and housing development?
That is a great question. And again, it falls right into my background. I had the good fortune to sit through a meeting where they were looking at the growth boundary here, where the Pasco Planning Department was. And I think we can have both, and I think we will have both. This is a fantastic place to live. It's been one of the fastest growing in the state as well as the country, meaning Franklin County. My background in real estate, makes me particularly tuned into the need for housing formation and what happens with people when they, can finally buy their first house. And Franklin County, quite frankly, has been the kind of bedroom community for the entire Tri-Cities community. So I think, working with those a lot of times in real estate, the counter interest, the FutureWise, Ecology, these guys end up with, we kind of get vilified or they get vilified. I think you can bring them together. I think, though, the priority does need to be towards, understanding private property rights. But anyway, I think that's a really important thing to do, again, is to drive those priorities and bring everybody to the table. So preserving the farmland is an absolute must in Franklin County so we can grow the food that feeds the world. We are top in many of the areas at doing that. And, hay and livestock and the fruits and vegetables, all of the potatoes. So thank you. That was a fantastic question.
And then before we go, your opportunity to give a 1-minute closing statement.
It's going to be less than 1 minute, but it's pretty straightforward. Franklin County is a great place to live. I've lived here for 26 years. I got married here to my wife, Lisa, and we have 4 children, 2 in the military, and 2 are still in the Pasco school district. I have going to be a junior and a first grader over here at Ruth Livingston. So I started a small business in real estate. And for the last 9 years, I've been serving you as your county auditor. It is time for a change, and it is time to bring, the strong leadership and trusted experience that I have built up by working with people in the courthouse, and in particular, my staff. We will make this government successful by building the people in it, by taking their passion for what they do and using that to deliver the services you deserve. Thanks.
Mr. Beaton, thank you very much for your time and appreciate your responses.
You bet. Hey, great job. Thanks.
And now we're taking a look at the races for Franklin County Commission District 2, joined now by Cliff McHugh. Thank you very much for joining us, Cliff.
Hey, thank you.
First of all, I want to give you an opportunity to make your 2-minute opening remarks.
Very good. So my name's Cliff McHugh. I'm a farmer out here in North Franklin County. I'm running because a few different people asked me to run. Mostly, I think our county runs pretty well, but I can help out on a few things. Part of our farm is we run a pretty good sized business. We rely on a lot of labor, a lot of very good labor. And I've also been an EMT for 8 years throughout the county, both in the north part and in the south part, just volunteering my time doing that. And that's it.
Well, your first question, if you were to win the position, you'd be entering at kind of a tumultuous time. So as a commissioner, what do you think should and could be done to make up for some probable shortfalls in the county's budget?
Yeah, the budget is a major concern. I think that we have to focus on growth. The first thing in our district is District 2 includes Connell. And Connell has a plant shutdown right now with Lamb Weston. So I think the first thing to do is it would be great to get a hold of the management of Lamb Weston Company and figure out, is there anything the county can do? I think that's to stop the bleed. I guess that'd be the triage. And then we have to figure out what budget we have to work with once we get going again. So we're all going to have to skinny up on what we have. The Franklin County budget is huge. It's something like over $30 million a year. And I haven't gone through it line by line yet, but I think we'll have to make some cuts here and there to get by. Certainly not spending any money that we don't have. And
question number 2, kind of going along the lines of current events, hindsight is going to be pretty relevant this year. Do you think the commissioners from the 2 counties could have done more to help the Benton Franklin Health District reduce the spread of COVID-19 in the 2 counties, and why or why not?
Sure. So Franklin County, like Benton County, like Yakima County, as our primary industries are ag, especially I think Franklin County is over 13% industry is agriculture. And we're reliant on a large Hispanic labor population to get our crops harvested every year. And it seems right now the population that primarily is essential and working in agriculture is having the hardest go right now. So as the county commissioners, I don't know that we can do a whole lot other than be out with the people. Let's encourage the use of different PPP or PPE as best we can. And I don't know what else we can do from that. I mean, our region, we are reliant on essential workers, and essential workers, we're out working. We don't have a privilege to stay at home. Just like me, I'm out working today. So we are essential, so we have to keep working. But to slow it down, we just have to make sure we're providing the best equipment we have and the best knowledge we have as it becomes available. It's a dynamic situation, so we're doing the best we can here.
And for your third question, as a county commissioner, what do you think should be more important in Franklin County, preserving prime agricultural land or promoting growth and housing development?
Oh, I think that's a balanced approach. So Pasco's growing a bit, and more and more land keeps growing out of Pasco. And the private industry is balancing that. The ground is very valuable and close to Pasco. So the farm ground is getting chewed up a bit, you might say. So I don't think the government needs to be involved in picking winners and losers. I think the private industry is sorting that out on its own.
And before we let you go here, your 1-minute closing remarks.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to thank you guys for hosting this. It's quite good. So mostly just a thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate your responses.
Hey, thank you, sir.
And speaking to a candidate for the Franklin County Commissioner District 2 seat, I'm joined now by Rocky Mullen. Rocky, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, as with all the candidates, we would like you to have an opportunity to speak your mind with an opening statement.
Well, my name is Rocky Mullen. I'm running for Franklin County Commissioner. I'm a lifelong resident of Franklin County. I'm a local business owner. I own several businesses here in the Tri-Cities. And so I know what it takes to run a business strongly and efficiently. And look forward to bringing that experience with me to Franklin County. I ran 4 years ago, and the race was decided by 13 people out of 26,000 votes that were cast. So I have continued upon this time to attend the commissioners meeting for the past 4 years on a regular basis to make sure that I'm current with everything that is going on. And so I'm up to date and prepared for the job ahead.
And question number one, as a commissioner, what do you think should and could be done to make up for what are sure to be some shortfalls in the county budget?
Well, first of all, we need to get everything opened up and get people back to work and get our economy rolling. And so by that, we'll be able to, collect tax revenue and get the county functioning again. Right now, everything's at such a standstill. It's never before have we had any type of experience like this happening, and we need to get back to work.
And question number two, I suppose also relates to COVID-19, as the first one obviously does as well. Hindsight is going to be relevant this year in regards to COVID-19. Do you think the current commissioners from the two counties could have done more to help the Benton Franklin Health District reduce the spread of COVID-19 in those counties, and why or why not?
They definitely need to work together more than what they have in the past, and put their differences aside and find out what is going to be best for the community as a whole. It's frustrating for everyone because, again, these are unprecedented times. So coming up with a solution is going to take a lot of unity and a lot of teamwork and the advice of professionals in that area so that we can get the county opened back up.
And finally, as a county commissioner, what do you think should be more important to Franklin County, preserving prime agricultural land or promoting growth and housing development?
Well, they're both extremely important. The agriculture is the basis for the Tri-Cities, and as a lifelong resident of Franklin County, my dad was number 7 in the drawing when they opened the basin. So when he said he got here, there were no roads. He basically drove across the sagebrush and started farming. So that is an integral, important part of our community, and we do have to balance the housing growth, and we just need to take a common sense approach at it and find out what's going to work for everyone.
And before we let you go, your chance to give some closing remarks. You have 1 minute for that.
All right. Well, like I said, I bring 35 years of experience with me to the position. I really would appreciate your vote. I think we need a lot of time put in here to find out what it's going to take to get us back up and rolling again. We can do better than what we've done in the past, and we need to work together. We need to get with all the electeds and come up with a plan and get more involvement from everyone that is elected and find out how to make their area grow feasibly, responsibly, and with accountability. We all need to work together to come up with a plan because we are going to be facing some unprecedented times.
Well, Rocky Mullen, Franklin County Commissioner candidate for District 2, thank you very much for taking the time out for us today.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
And continuing our coverage of the Franklin County Commissioner District 2 race, I'm joined now by Ana Ruiz Peralta. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you. And
I want to first give you an opportunity. I may have just interrupted it, but to give your opening statement.
well, thank you to the League of Women Voters for organizing this important candidate forum. My name is Ana Ruiz Peralta, and I am running for Franklin County Commissioner, District 2. When I was a little girl, my dad told me that no matter where I was, I should always ask, how can I help? I took that lesson with me when I arrived in Franklin County over 20 years ago. I'm running for Franklin County Commissioner, District 2, because I believe it's the moment for our county to have proven, inclusive servant leader. As a current board chair of Tri-Cities Community Health, I have experience in leadership, overseeing a budget of over $30 million, and improving access to quality healthcare for Franklin and Benton County residents. I am the creator and co-founder of the Pasco Taco Crawl. This is a successful community building and economic development event that brought thousands of residents from the entire Tri-Cities and beyond to Pasco. These roles have taught me what our community needs most and how to make it happen. My priorities as a commissioner will be focusing on smart growth policies that protect locally owned farms, addressing our underfunded by-county public health system, improving our juvenile justice system, expanding access to commissioner meetings, and providing multilingual services to these meetings. Finally, I will work toward improving access to high-quality internet fiber throughout the county. Franklin County, like all counties in our state, is facing unprecedented challenges, but our people are strong, our future is bright, and our potential is still limitless. It is the moment for a commissioner who will bridge the divide affecting our county. It is a moment for our leaders who have a proven record of collaboration and bringing people together. I am Ana Ruiz Peralta, and I am running for Franklin County Commissioner, District 2.
Thank you very much. And the first question kind of goes along the lines with one of your last points there, challenging time budget-wise. Now, as a commissioner, what do you think should and could be done to make up for probable shortfalls in the county budget?
Well, we know the county is in charge of receiving or collecting taxes and the revenue that we generate through taxes. So when we have to come back together and do a top-bottom review of our budget. And when we see we have to work together, the budget, the county assigns a budget to the sheriff, to the prosecutor, to the court, to the clerk, and all these different entities. So we have to come together and take a hard look at how are we spending our money and what are our priorities. And also be collaborators with other agencies such as the city, the port, and the school district. Bringing all the stakeholders together so that we can all come out of this challenge. I believe we have a strong economy. We had a strong economy before COVID. We have our ag industry that is very strong. And we need to come together, as a community on how are we going to come out of this. And I believe we're going to come out stronger than how we started. We have a Somos Pasco, which is our economic development strategic priorities. And we have to come back and reassess that. We already have that line up. So we need to look at what the changes are after COVID and reassess those. Thank you.
And speaking of COVID-19 from a health perspective, do you think the commissioners from the two counties, Benton and Franklin, could have done more to help the health district reduce the spread of COVID-19 in those counties, and why or why not?
Thank you for the question. We know that when we have a crisis, we leaders, we have to look back at what has it done in similar crises, similar events. What have we done before? So leaders, not only in Franklin County, but statewide and worldwide, we had a lesson that we learned before. When we have a crisis, we have to rely and we have to trust on the subject knowledge and experts, in this case, in healthcare. When we talk about what do, we commissioners have to rely and support the experts on public health. That is where there is a gap in leadership. The mixed signals that we received from the commissioners have made it so now not only Franklin, but Benton County residents and business have received a mixed signal on what to do and how to. Now the challenge is, how do we come together? How do we bring the community together so that we all together get out of these health crisis? And I think the commissioners still have an opportunity to bring the community together, because that's the only way we're going to get out of this crisis. Thank you.
And question number 3, as a county commissioner, what do you think should be more important in Franklin County, preserving prime agricultural land or promoting growth and housing development?
Well, that is what is most important, promoting our agricultural or housing. We know we have one of the most fertile soil, and here in Franklin County, we have to protect that, but we also we have to work with how do we grow, how do we expand, and those smart growth policies. We know we still have land in the city, and we're growing north, but we have to do it in a way that is smart, that we bring stakeholders together, we bring the ag community, we listen to them. We also need to bring developers and the city, of course, and the planning. How are we working with with all these entities? We know we're going to face over 50,000 people. We're going to grow around that amount in the next 10 years. So how do we do it in a smart way where we also support our very important ag community? I don't think there we have this. I don't think the economic development and ag is they are at odds with each other. I think we can support both.
And before you go, just allow you to give 1 minute closing remarks.
Well, I want to thank again the League of Women Voters for hosting this forum during these unprecedented times to help the Franklin County voters make an informed decision in the upcoming primary election. In these elections, voters have the opportunity to choose new leaders who will work to bring us together so that we can face the challenges before us and emerge stronger than ever before. Our public health, safety, and economic prosperity are too important to chance with the tired, damaging, and out-of-touch politics of the past and present. I am Ana Ruiz Peralta, and I am running for Franklin County Commissioner, District 2, because it's the moment to turn the page and embrace our bright future. I ask for your vote in the August 4th primary and encourage you, everyone who wants to get involved in our campaign, to visit electanaruiz.com to learn more.
Ana Ruiz Peralta, thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we continue our coverage in this forum in Franklin County in the race for the Franklin County Public Utility District Commissioner, and joined now by Bill Gordon. Bill, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you. I'd also like to say good morning and thank you to the League of Women Voters for holding this session.
And first, we'd like you to start by giving us an opening statement, if you have one.
Yes, I do. For 19 years, I was co-owner of Gordon Brothers Cellars and Gordon Brothers Farms. I have a Bachelor of Arts degree from WSU in Hotel and Restaurant Administration. I'm currently on the Columbia Basin College Board of Trustees, appointed by the governor in 2013. Good things are happening at Franklin PUD. When I became a PUD commissioner 17 years ago, chaos reigned. Large rate increases were being imposed. Board members were bickering. Declining bond rating was adding to customers' electric bills. I'm happy to report that we now enjoy stable rates. Commissioners and staff work together for the benefit of customers, and our current business practices resulted in a 4-level increase in bond rating. My knowledge and experience will benefit the PUD in the coming years to maintain rate stability as well as electric service reliability while we face the unknown, somewhat scary times ahead. The PUD's power purchase contract with BPA will soon expire, requiring the Commission to make critical decisions regarding future power sources. The Snake River dams, which provide clean, reliable, low-cost power to PUD customers, are under continual attack from groups fighting for their removal. Resisting demands for spilling more water and using less for generation, as well as resisting attacks from dam removal advocates, requires heightened efforts and scientific information. It requires an experienced board of commissioners. I look forward to continuing to work for you to bring my knowledge and experience to Franklin County PUD. Thank you.
And your first question, how probable do you think rate increases will be in the next 5 years, and what might contribute to those increases?
Well, it's 100% probable. BPA has their as they run Energy Northwest, or the nuclear generating station, upgrading the dams. That all their costs is passed on to their customer, and we are one of their customers. They are trying, and they are doing a good job in holding their rate increases to around 2% a year.
And question number 2, with unemployment continuing due to COVID-19 in our communities, are there any additional steps that PUD could take to help ensure people that they won't lose their electricity or other utilities because of an inability to pay, and why or why not?
The customers are going to be required to pay their bills. How they do it is up to them, in that they communicate with our customer service and billing department and develop a plan on how they can best pay their bills. The customers work very well with the PUD staff, and the staff works very well with them.
And question number 3, this year, the Washington legislature passed a $21 million bill to expand high-speed broadband internet service to rural areas. How do you think this will help the people of Franklin County, and what role will the PUD have in providing that help?
Let's go back a little bit. NOAANET came out with a program 3 years ago or 4 years ago to bring, it's called the BTOP program, and we brought internet service to Connell, Mesa, and Colotus because of this. So those rural areas, they have internet service now. I don't know how they will do this 21 million. They haven't approached us, but we wholesale the power for internet. Okay.
All right. And before we let you go here, just an opportunity to have a 1-minute closing statement.
Thank you. In closing, I'd like to say having a stable utility has allowed our PUD to implement many things. The BTOP program is one of them, while keeping the reliability of electricity for the customers. Some of our customers are relying on the PUD for safety and keeping their medical equipment running during this pandemic. We have changed the way our employees work and where they work. This has all been accepted by the employees to help keep each other healthy so they can perform their tasks. We have a stable commission that is making sure we have a stable utility. That is one thing our customers can count on during this pandemic time. I would appreciate your vote for keeping my experience in making good decisions for you during these unsettling times. Thank you. Vote for Bill Gordon, PUD Commissioner. Thank you.
Mr. Gordon, thank you so much for taking the time for this unconventional virtual forum, but we really appreciate you showing up.
You're welcome.
Continuing our look at the candidates for Franklin County PUD Commissioner, I'm now joined by Curtis DeWoody. Mr. DeWoody, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And we first like to give our candidates an opportunity to give an opening statement. We'll give you 2 minutes for that.
Okay. Kurt DeWoody, running for Franklin County PUD Commissioner. I've lived in West Pasco for 10 years now. We moved from Southern California up here 10 years ago, following grandkids. My daughter married a fellow in baseball. In fact, Daryl Ebert, the general manager of the Dust Devils. Married to my wife, Mary Lou. She works at Bethlehem Lutheran Church as a ministries coordinator. And I have 2 daughters, one in Sacramento, one here, 6 grandkids. I spent 37 years, a career at an electric utility. And I did everything from beginning to reading meters, to planning and designing electrical systems, to pump tests and on-end energy efficiency. That's how I finished my career. I'm looking to run for this office because, first of all, I think it would be an honor to serve the people of Franklin County, a privilege and an honor. And I believe that the commissioners should have some kind of electric utility experience, especially with the things that we're going to be facing in the next few years. And I have that experience, and I feel like I'd be a good fit for that position.
And your first question, we'll get right into looking at the next few years. How probable do you think rate increases will be in the next 5 years, and what might contribute to those increases?
Yes, I do think they'll go up. How much? I hope very little. But what I see happening is if the hydro problem that we're having now, the problem with the government trying to tell us that we can't use the hydro, the cheap, efficient, it can't be hydro's not renewable. We're going to have to buy more wind and solar. Those things are expensive compared to cheap, economical, and good hydroelectricity. I've been in a utility where we got away from nuclear, we got away from coal, and we went to solar and windmills, and power is like 5 times what it is here. So yes, I see it going up, and due to what's going to happen with hydro if we don't become more proactive and put a stop to this.
And question number 2, with unemployment continuing during COVID-19 in our communities, are there additional steps the PUD could take to help ensure people won't lose their electricity or other utilities because of an inability to pay, and why or why not?
That's a good one. There's things I'm sure we could do in the budget, like maybe cut back on maintenance. There's a lot of things that the utility has to do for maintenance, but maybe there's ways to shave some of that, to set up a fund just for people that are having a hard time. If I was commissioner right now, I would donate half of my salary into a fund to take care of people that are having problems right now. And I would hope that other people in the utility and other people in the community, I've learned that in my 10 years, this is a great community for stepping up to the plate and helping people. And I think if we set up a fund and really got people to donate it, even if it was just the difference in your utility bill. Say it's a $20.92. If we gave that extra 8 cents into a fund, it'd be pretty simple, and I think that would help.
And question number 3, this year the Washington legislature passed a $21 million bill to expand high-speed broadband internet service to rural areas. Yes. How do you think this will help people of Franklin County, and what role will the PUD have in providing that kind of help?
Well, you've got me a little bit of a disadvantage here. I don't have a lot of experience in broadband as a utility operating that. My background was, like say, electricity. However, it would help the community, especially the outlying areas. And with the virus right now, it would be awesome if everybody had a way to go to school online and stay out of the classrooms and out of public, which we're doing. But people that are further out of town like that, they have a little more difficulty getting to libraries and well, now I'm rambling, so I'll say I'd have to find out more about it, but I know that would be a big help for broadband to our outlying communities.
I appreciate that. And finally, before you go here, an opportunity to make a 1-minute closing statement.
Well, I said it would be an honor and a privilege to serve the people of Franklin County. And if I'm elected, I'd use all of my time and talent and abilities to do the best job that I could. And I'd just like to thank you for this opportunity.
All right, Curtis DeWoody, candidate for Franklin PUD Commissioner. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Matt.
And we're speaking to another candidate for Franklin County PUD Commissioner, joined now by Casey Cochran. Mr. Cochran, nice to see you.
Good morning. You too.
Well, we want to give our candidates an opportunity to begin with a 2-minute opening statement.
Okay, very good. Well, again, my name is Casey Cochran, and I am running for position 2 for Franklin County PUD. I have the experience in the utility industry after many years working in public policy, starting off with Seattle City Light many years ago, and Puget Sound Energy not too long ago. In addition to that, doing public policy and government affairs work for the Tacoma Pierce County Chamber of Commerce, as well as work for private consulting firms. So I've been involved in public policy for over 30 years. But probably what's most important to me right now, and has been all my life, is living on this farm in the north part of Franklin County. And it's been in our family for 106 years. And it's part of my life. And one of the reasons I'm running for PUD is representation in the north part of the county. If you look at the ballot, if you look at all the ballot issues out there, I'm the only candidate that is not in Pasco, Washington for this race, or in the whole county. So it's an interesting position I'm in, that I want to represent this District 2, but also have vast experience in representing the entire utility and the entire county. Graduated from Washington State University in English and Business, did government affairs lobbying across the state. I, in fact, won the C.C. Dill Memorial speech contest when I was 16 years old for the Franklin County PUD. So that shows you my bona fides, that I've been involved with the PUD for many, many years as a customer and a constituent.
And question number one for you is, how probable do you think rate increases will be in the next 5 years, and what might contribute to those increases?
Well, I think it's highly probable. The COVID situation has thrown our world upside down. But mostly through Bonneville Power Administration, and where we get our power for the county right now. The current administration is banting around the idea of selling Bonneville Power Administration to a private entity, and certainly that would cause potential rate increases. In addition, a different administration may want to, divest and make things equal across the country using this power source. Tennessee Valley Authority and BPA are big targets to distribute the wealth of what has been traditionally a Northwest asset. So I see BPA having some strong influence on rate increases. In addition, demands by constituents having cleaner power, more reliable power as we work from home. Especially in Franklin County, farming and agriculture is much more technical than it ever was, especially when my father started farming many, many years ago. So it's going to have a demand on providing better service throughout the county, and will inevitably, I think, cause a rate increase.
And question number two, with unemployment continuing during COVID-19 in our communities, are there additional steps the PUD could take to help ensure people won't lose, let's say, electricity or other utilities because of an inability to pay? And why or why not?
Well, number one, I think the situation with the ability to pay and the charter of the PUD has always been to serve first. So right now, the PUD is in a situation where it's telling its customers that, hey, we understand, but you're going to have to pay. It's not necessarily a message that I really think resonates well. I think people understand they're going to have to pay. But I think one of the things that we can do is expand and enhance the Helping Hands program by getting either state, federal dollars, or possible surcharges to enhance that program, and then farm that program out to a local entity, nonprofit or organization, to administer the funds. So if someone was having trouble with their bill, they could go to that organization and they could ask for a grant to help pay their bill. Having the PUD forgive bills and payments creates a slippery slope across the board about what you do with the charter and the mission of the utility. So I think we could perhaps find resources to enhance programs that can go out to grants to those people who are duly in need.
And question number three, this year, the Washington legislature passed a $21 million bill to expand high-speed broadband internet in rural areas. How do you think this will help the people of Franklin County? And what role will the PUD have in providing that kind of help?
Well, first of all, I think it's vastly important to have broadband service to the underserved areas, especially this District 2 of PUD, but the underserved areas of the county. Hotspots are delightful and I think important. I think we have to be more strategic in where we're putting them so that they assist the most people and not just say, hey, here it is, we've put it up and enjoy. I think as far as broadband internet to those underserved areas or areas that don't have that service, again, I use agriculture as an example. People, it's getting more technical. We're on our computers. We're on our computers right now talking to each other. That really needs to be a focus and enhanced with the PUD. And the PUD is the prime player in putting this together because it has trust. People understand it, and they believe that they can get a equitable and fair cost to what they're doing. But I think in the end, the PUD plays a role in taking a leadership role in communicating to people what they want and where they want it. So broadband internet service is very, very important.
And before we let you go, just give you an opportunity to make your 1-minute closing remarks.
Well, again, I appreciate the opportunity to speak with everyone today. The key for this position, I think, is to provide experience and opportunities to reach out more into the communities. We have to have more of a transparent process for rate making. We have to have continue to have safety as a priority for utility. We need to enhance the broadband system. And then I think most importantly, we need to be out in the community more. We need to be out there telling them why they're paying for and what they're getting. And I think we have failed, to do that efficiently. So I think the PUD can step out more and show its leadership in the community as an economic development driver and a key community player.
Thank you very much. Casey Cochran running in his district for Franklin County PUD Commissioner. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Well, I first want to thank all of the candidates who were able to take time out of their days to join this virtual forum. We also want to thank the League of Women Voters for providing the questions and the opportunity to connect with all of those candidates. The primary is coming up on August 4th. You should be getting mail-in ballots soon. Those ballots do need to be postmarked by August 4th. Now, if you happen to miss any parts of this forum, you can catch it on our YouTube channel and Facebook page, also nwpb.org. This forum will also be sent to the cities of Richland, Pasco, and the website for the League of Women Voters. Thank you for watching.